Hey guys, in this video I'll be taking a look at the 2017 Mr. Olympia in order to analyze the results and placings of this show. I'll be mainly focusing on the top four at the show being Phil Heath, Big Ramy, William Bonac, and Dexter Jackson. However, Sean Roden, who placed 5th, will make an appearance in some of the shots. I'll be judging this comparison by using a points-based system, with the winner getting 4 points, second getting 3, third getting 2, fourth getting 1, and so on. Now, before the video does start, if you guys enjoy my content, a like and sub would really help out the channel. With that all being said, let's get into this video. Alright, here's the first pose, the front double, and honestly, this isn't the best pose for any of them, as none of them are at their all-time best in my opinion. While Dexter probably has the most pleasing and aesthetic upper body, his quads are the smallest in the group. Phil has some amazing quads, probably the best balance of size and conditioning, but has the worst midsection and a pretty narrow frame. Ramy has an amazing frame, along with huge arms and great quads, but lackluster quad separation and a washed out midsection. Bonac does look pretty good, having a better midsection than both Phil and Ramy, great quads and solid arms, but falls short in terms of his structure. Like I said, all of them are flawed, however, I believe that first is definitely between Phil and Ramy. Both have amazing individual body parts, something that I believe the judges were favoring in this period, and superior size to both Dexter and Bonac. While Phil has better separation overall, his distended, washed out midsection is enough to throw the entire pose off. I would give him second to Ramy, who looks freakishly large, with Dexter in third due to shape and structure, and Bonac falling in last for having the worst frame and a blocky sort of look. The front lat spread is probably the champ's worst pose, as Phil looks absolutely terrible. His structure is not made for this pose, as he looks uncomfortable and unaesthetic pretty much everywhere. He does have good separation, bubbliness, and things of that nature, but he really doesn't look good. Even Bonac, who doesn't have the best frame, beats him everywhere in my opinion, with them placing third and fourth respectively. Looking at Ramy and Dexter, it is clear that they are in a league of their own. Both create impressive poses, with Ramy having the width advantage and crazy size, while Dexter has flow, bubbliness, and superior conditioning. He does fall short in the quads once again though, of course next to Ramy, which is probably enough of a disadvantage for him to fall in second. Ramy would definitely take this one, not for the conditioning or shape alone, rather for his tremendous stage presence, size, and wow factor. He has a tapered waist, huge wide shoulders, great quads, and the height advantage of course. The side chest is finally where Phil's champion colors can finally shine, as this is one of his strongest poses. That doesn't mean that it's a walk in the park for him though, as Ramy, Bonac, and Dexter all look very good. I'd probably have Bonac and Dexter making up the bottom half of this callout, as Dexter isn't as thick in the chest or arms as any of the others, while Bonac's side leg and overall presentation isn't for my taste. That being said, both do look very good, and this is an extremely competitive shot, so don't assume that they aren't in the hunt, but between them, I'd probably go with Dexter over Bonac, due to Dexter's superior shape and presentation. It's just that Phil and Ramy are either too big, too bubbly, or too dense in one place or another, to the point where Bonac and Dexter can't overtake them. Now, between Phil and Ramy, it is definitely close. Both have huge upper bodies and tremendous side legs. However, I'd give Ramy the side leg, while Phil would win the upstairs upper body. Personally, I'd prefer the 3D roundness of Phil's upper body and the way that he showcases his width through posing. However, Ramy has undeniable size and thickness that makes it hard to bet against him. Like I said though, I'm going to go with Phil in this pose, however, Ramy is right there with him. The rear double bicep is a pose which helped Phil win the Olympia 7 consecutive times, as it hid his only weakness, his midsection, and displayed his world-class backside. I'd be confident in saying that everybody else is fighting for second place, as nobody has the same depth, thickness, and conditioning to the back, along with the shredded glutes and hamstrings. The only person that is remotely close, specifically in the back, would be Bonac, who has great conditioning, lower back density, and overall great development, but he does lack the same pop and wow factor of Phil. He does have amazing arms, strided glutes, and solid hamstrings, so I'd probably be inclined to give him second, as he looks to be the second most complete. Both Phil and Bonac have a level of thickness far superior than Dexter and Ramy in the lower backs, which is clearly seen in this shot. Now, between Dexter and Ramy, I'd go with Ramy because he is obviously much bigger than Dexter, while not being too far away in conditioning, and he also has superior quad shape, better arms, and a overall better structure. Dexter would fall in last place, as he lacks the size in the outer quad sweep and overall thickness, but he does have probably the second best, if not the best, shape in this callout. To some, the rear lat spread should go to Ramy by default for his tremendous width and size, but in my opinion, I would argue that he falls short due to the lack of his hamstring, glute, and back detail. He is the shallowest in terms of the back thickness and isn't nearly as conditioned in the lower body as some of the other competitors. Even someone like Bonac, who is at a structural disadvantage and is much smaller, doesn't get demolished by the much larger and wider Ramy. If anything, Bonac has a better lower body in terms of separation, similar separation in the back as well, and superior lower lat thickness. That being said, I think Ramy does do enough to beat Bonac as he is just so much bigger, but not by a lot. Phil and Dexter do have the best and most complete rear lat spreads by far, as both have crazy detail pop and thickness to their backs. Dexter is wider and presents superior flow in my opinion. However, Phil has the better glutes, hamstrings, and calves, plus a grainy, dense look to his back. While I wouldn't necessarily say that Phil has an absolute advantage in the back, he certainly would take this pose, leaving Dexter in second. Here's the side tricep, a solid pose for all of these guys, including this year's 5th place finisher Sean Roden, who honestly might even take the win here. Since I haven't been showing Sean in every shot though, it would mess up the points if I were to judge him, so I'm just going to have to leave him out. Now, looking back at the top 4, you can see that none of them necessarily look aesthetic or outstanding. Phil has the best tricep that is fully strided, a great side leg, a huge delt, and a thick chest, but has a protruding bubble gut. Ramy has a solid arm, huge delt, great chest, and probably the best side leg, but his midsection looks super blocky and he looks uncomfortable leaning so far forward. Bonac is hitting the Dorian Yates variation of the pose with that trailing calf, which actually does look pretty good. However, there's nothing about him that screams that he's winning. Dexter didn't even hit the side tricep here, however, he does look shredded, round, and dry, but obviously isn't hitting the pose. In terms of well-roundedness, I'd have to go with Phil for the win. He has the best arm and specifically the best tricep, a conditioned and large side leg, and a great package minus the midsection. Next, I'd go with Ramy, as his side leg is of course too much for Bonac and Dexter, plus his overall size is just a little too dominant. Bonac and Dexter are close, however, I'd go with Bonac simply because he hits the shot properly, with Dexter in last due to his protruding midsection, just a little bit, you can notice it very, very slightly, lackluster arm, and of course because he isn't hitting the pose properly. The ab and thigh is really only a great pose for one guy, and that would be Dexter Jackson. He has the best combination of V-taper, small waist, and symmetrical abdominals, and although his quads aren't the best, he poses them in a way that makes their sweep look more pronounced. I would definitely have him taking this pose, as virtually every other competitor has a worse set of abs or a blocky midsection. In second, I'd probably have Ramy and Bonac battling it out. Ramy doesn't have a bad set of abs and has the best set of quads, so on paper he should win since he has the best structure as well. However, his midsection does look a little bit blocky and his V-taper is no better than Phil's. Bonac, on the other hand, hides his wider waist through excellent posing, showcasing superior separation and feathering in the quads, and has a much more detailed and defined midsection. I'd definitely give him the nod here as he looks more refined and polished than Ramy. Phil would find himself in 4th place as his midsection is so bad and his frame is so narrow. That being said, he does seem to have the best overall set of quads, as they are ripped and huge, however they make him look super bottom heavy. While he may have the best legs, he clearly has the worst upper body, which would make him take 4th place. The most muscular is the last shot of this comparison, and once again we have Sean on the side. This time though, he definitely looks like the 5th place finisher, as he is the least impressive almost everywhere and sort of looks two-dimensional. Now, I know that's probably pretty harsh, but like I said earlier though, I won't be judging him for the rest of the comparison, just for the comparison's sake, so keep that in mind. Now, Phil, Bonac, and Dexter are all hitting the crab variation, while Ramy is hitting a hand clasped. That makes it kind of hard to judge, however, I'm going to try my best to do so. Phil has the craziest delts, arms, and quads in the picture, as all of them are separated, cut, and bubbly. Ramy has massive quads, huge arms and delts, a massive chest, and probably has the most overall size, but lacks definition. Bonac looks amazing here, showcasing those world-class biceps, great conditioning, and his tremendous overall thickness that's almost comparable to Phil. Dexter probably has the best traps in the group, some freaky muscle maturity as well, but lacks overall size. The way I judge this one goes as follows: Phil winning due to his 3D roundness, size, and condition, Ramy in second for his sheer mass and freak factor, Bonac in third for his comparable separation and shape to Phil, Dexter in fourth due to his lackluster size, and that's pretty much how I do it. While I think Bonac and Ramy could definitely be flipped, first and fourth are set in stone. Alright guys, that about does it for this video. In summary, I'd Phil winning with 25 points, Ramy in second with 23, Dexter in third with 17, and Bonac in fourth with 15. Remember guys, there were poses that were definitely close and could have changed the outcome of the comparison. However, I do believe that this was a fairly respectable and almost predictable outcome. It highlighted the original notion of the top two being far ahead of the rest of the pack, while third and fourth place were definitely close and competitive. Based on these pictures, it is safe to say that Phil did enough to win the Olympia this year. However, other pictures or video footage might say otherwise. With that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.